Growing a business is kind of tricky right now. Supply chains are squeezed, tariffs and trade policies are dynamic, and cash flow, it's tighter than ever. You need clarity to come out on top. Without it, you risk falling behind. If only you could hop in the DeLorean and see the future, right? Thankfully, there's NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite has real-time forecasting to help you move ahead with confidence. This is your AI-powered business management suite and the #1 cloud ERP. Trusted by over 42,000 businesses, NetSuite brings accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR all under one roof. It's your single source of truth, giving you the data and control you need to move quickly. And with AI built in, you can automate the busy work and focus on strategy. NetSuite helps you see what's stuck, what it's costing you, and how to pivot fast. If I were running a business with a lot of moving parts, I'd use NetSuite for full control over everything. Tame the chaos with NetSuite. If your revenues are at least in 7 figures, download the free ebook, Navigating Global Trade, 3 Insights for Leaders at netsuite.com/SPI. That's netsuite.com/SPI. You spent months building towards launch day, but when the clock hits 0, your site crashes. Bots swarm, and loyal fans rage on Reddit. That's not good. Fanfare was built to stop that. Fanfare is the drop platform made for high-pressure moments, stampede-proof infrastructure, verified waitlists, and bot filters that actually work. Instead of refunds and rage, you get retention and revenue. And that sounds great to me. Your next launch shouldn't be a gamble. Get Fanfare's 5-step hype drop playbook and learn how to bulletproof your drop at fanfare.io/playbook. Again, that's fanfare.io/playbook.
Welcome to the Smart Passive Income Podcast, where it's all about working hard now so you can sit back and reap the benefits later. And now your host. He's lean, he's green, he's a podcasting machine, Pat Flynn.
Happy Friday, or follow-up Friday. And this episode is going to be a little bit different because, we just had this amazing interview with Brenda last Wednesday, and she told her story about how she started her online photography business, and it was one of my favorite episodes to record. But then I go back and I'm like, wow, all the episodes this year were absolutely incredible. So what I wanted to do was go back into time to our first episode in January of 2021 and just call out some of my favorites, some memorable moments, and some updates for some of those people who we brought on the show. So maybe you can remember those, or if you haven't listened to those yet, perhaps you were a new subscriber, you can go back and listen to those. But these are some of the standouts and favorites from 2021. And I want to start with the very first episode, 455. So we're currently at, what is this, 534? So 455 in January of 2001. And this is with Rob Maurer from Tesla Daily. Now, Tesla Daily is one of the only podcasts I listen to literally every single day, and I catch him on YouTube, in fact. And that conversation was great because Rob, an incredible human being who quit his job to just follow Tesla and provide news and updates in an unbiased manner about Tesla. And I'm a Tesla shareholder, I'm a Tesla user, and Tesla has obviously become very, very important in the media, and the media has been, in a way, skewing a lot of things one way or another, and Rob always takes this amazing stance and just factual sort of based approach to it, and he's grown his audience quite big, and he does both YouTube podcasting and audio podcasting, and his YouTube channel has grown quite a bit. And I'm looking at a tool called Social Blade just to kind of remember where he was at and where he is now. He was getting maybe 200 to 350,000 video views on his YouTube channel, Tesla Daily, per month. So 250,000 per month. He's at a point now where he's getting 2.5 million views per month. And obviously the news of Tesla and Elon Musk and all that stuff has contributed to this, but just the fact that Rob has remained consistent. And that episode was absolutely fantastic because we talk about balance, we talk about his story, and I think that's absolutely key. We started off the year with a bang. The next episode, 456, was with SPI community member and SPI Pro member Josh Hall, and how he created courses. He's in the sort of web development space, and he created some niche courses to help people, and it's absolutely changed his business and his life, and he's been so incredible inside of SPI Pro and helping and serving others too. And this episode, I remember getting a lot of feedback on people. When I have people direct messaging me saying, wow, that episode was incredible, that's how you know it was really, really good. I mean, that happened with Rob as well. And Rob has this incredible fan base on YouTube who reached out to me to thank me for providing this side of the story for Rob. But Josh, I mean, that episode was so tangible, very, very specific strategies that you can pull away from. And again, that's 456 with Josh Hall. All right, moving up the list here. 459 was great. Daryl Eves, who's a good friend of mine, he runs a conference called Vid Summit. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend Vid Summit like I wanted to in August of this year in LA, but that still happened and he threw it down. It was an amazing event. I heard one of my favorite events to attend, but I wasn't able to go. But I was glad to bring him on the show in 459 because his book, The YouTube Formula, breaks down really what the formula is for winning on YouTube. And obviously, I've gone pretty hard on YouTube on both the Pat Flynn side of things as well as the Pokemon channel, which a lot of the episodes that I talked about mid-year were about. And starting that channel, what has happened since, I'll give you a quick update on that in just a minute. But really, really exciting stuff. And Daryl, thank you so much for all the help you've provided. We've actually started a YouTube channel for Smart Passive Income specifically, which features one of our very own, more than me, Mindy. Mindy has been our solutions manager. So if you think of her as sort of the IT person, right, solutions director, really, helping connect a lot of the technologies together and getting everything from landing pages to emails to sequences, campaigns up and running, and sales pages. She's been providing a wealth of knowledge on that YouTube channel. We have over 3,000 subscribers there now, which is really cool. You can check it out. Smart Passive Income on YouTube. You'll find me there as well as the SPI channel featuring Mindy with a lot of technical help on how to connect a lot of your technologies together. So big shout out to Mindy there. Now, soon after Daryl came on the show, we started talking a lot about community. You know, we launched SPI Pro mid-2020 to amazing success, and it still continues to thrive and be one of the most fulfilling things we've ever done. But we knew that we were going to step into this world and be an example for people. So in February of 2021, we brought Circle on, Circle.so, and Circle and Matt and myself came on to talk about online communities and how to start them. And Sid and Andrew over at Circle has just created this amazing platform. Full disclosure, I am not just an affiliate now, but I am an advisor to the company. If you want to check out Circle, smartpassiveincome.com/circle. But we had predicted that community would be even more important moving forward in business, and it definitely has become that since. And we've done these things now called Open Circle, where we invite anybody who's interested live to come in and ask our team questions, and that's going to be happening again on and on, into 2022 for sure. It's just been incredible to see more and more people creating their own niche communities with a tool like Circle. So again, smartpassiveincome.com/circle. And that was sort of a bonus episode in between 459 and 460. It was sort of not an emergency, but we just saw this emergence of community, and we wanted to step up and bring the team on over at Circle to talk about that together. Then we have Jay Klaus, who came in February. Jay has been our community director, really leading the charge with building an incredible team and community experience, really. Community experience director. And Jay, I highly recommend you check out his podcast. Creative Elements is the name of it. It is one of the most well-produced and fun episodes of any podcast to listen to, or fun shows to listen to. And again, Jay Klaus from creativeelements.fm. He came on to talk about freelancing, but I encourage you to check him out because he's got some amazing things going on for sure. So moving into March, and then into March, I created a solo episode that had a lot of great feedback. 466, the moment I took the entrepreneurial leap. The moment I took the entrepreneurial leap. This talks about a lot of the psychology of what it was like to actually make that jump and leap into entrepreneurship. And actually, that was, I think, a Friday follow-up episode based on a chat with Gino Wickman, who has a book called The Leap. And that was a book, Gino Wickman, you might remember him from one of the books that I recommend all the time, which is called Rocket Fuel. We had him on the show to talk about his new book, but most of all, just what's it like to take that leap, and what are the things you have to look out for, and how do you plan for it? And I followed it up with 466, talking about my own entrepreneurial leap and such. And I think at this time, I had a lot of solo things to share, right? In 468 in March, I talked about when I failed at work and life balance, because it hasn't always been rainbows and unicorns and roses. It's been a lot of trial and error and some stuff that definitely led to some really important conversations that my wife April and I had together, that balancing kids, balancing more opportunities, learning to say no, all of that stuff, very, very important in episode 468. Now, moving into April, a fun episode, April 7th, number 473, we had Jess, my wonderful executive assistant, on to talk about assistants, admins, and appreciation. That sort of marked Administrative Appreciation Day. And we brought Jess on. She's been a recurring guest on the show. First time, and I think her episode was 115, where we talked about how she came on to help me solve my email problems, which was really great. And she's come on a couple times since. So 473, if you want to listen to Jess chat about working with an assistant or anybody on a team really, and how to make them feel appreciated. And that's so important, because a lot of times these people who might do some amazing work for us, they don't need much. They don't need gifts. They don't need things like that often. I think it's important to do and to offer. However, sometimes just words of appreciation go a very long way. So we talk about that in episode 473. Moving into the tail end of April, we bring on Stu McLaren to talk about how to launch and manage a successful membership community. Stu is just one of the most amazing human beings in the world, and Stu coming on, always telling some incredible stories. He's really inspired us on Team SPI to dive deeper into learning about your users and their success stories and cross-checking them with the specific objections that they had, and how that can be useful for sharing information and even selling and promoting the things that you have. I highly recommend checking out 477, because Stu is just absolutely just epic with all that stuff. Okay, now let's move forward. I'm going to skip over the summer and go into 499 with Jeff Goins. Jeff Goins is somebody who's helped me out with my book recently. You might have heard me talk about my book, The Lean Learner, which is coming out sometime at the time that I'm recording this. The proposal is in the hands of my agent, who is now determining what changes we need to make, if any, before we shop it around. And again, I don't know if it's going to be traditional or self-published. We'll see. But Jeff was really helpful with that. But we didn't talk about that in episode 499. What we talked about specifically was the big idea and how to get your ideas to spread and what makes an idea spreadable. We talk about this idea between the just sort of outlandish and the obvious, right? And you want that spot in the middle, right? Things that are obvious, people already know, they're going to breeze over. But things that are completely outlandish and just unreal are just going to be skipped over as well, because it's like, oh, I don't believe that at all. Or, that's way out there. I'm not even going to waste my time. It's when you get something in between that is sort of like, here's everybody's idea about this, and here's how you flip it on its head and make people go, whoa, wait, what? Okay, I guess that could be true, but okay, I got to find that out. I got to click on that thumbnail. I got to, read that book. I got to take that course, or at least read the next section of the sales page. If there's any one episode I would recommend you listen to, it would be that one. I mean, I wish I could say that about every episode. Every episode's great, but 499 with Jeff was absolutely incredible, and I would imagine life-changing for some people. Episode 499 with Jeff Goins. And that leads us into our huge milestone episode 500, which was super fun. And I'm just even remembering that conversation right now with Shane Sams, who was previously a guest on the show, a fan favorite, in fact, who I invited on to interview me about my story. So when you go to that episode 500, you'll see it's about a mystery host flipping the script. Well, the mystery host I just revealed was Shane Sams flipping the script. He owns, with his wife, Flipped Lifestyles. He and his wife Jocelyn are just so amazing and have been incredibly supportive and always credit me with their success. And honestly, it's a back and forth, right? It's a pass forward, a pass amongst each other. And I highly recommend you listen to that, because if you haven't heard about my story and really the details of it and how I got started in this space, I highly recommend you check it out. It's just awesome. Cool. Now, we move forward into now the fall, where we go into places like Dory Clark, talking about playing the long game. That's in episode 509. Dory, another amazing human being who spoke about, she's been on the show before to talk about some of her other books, but this book in particular, How to Play and Win the Long Game, right? Her book called The Long Game. Doing business in a way that's going to get you to have success for a longer period of time. A lot of us perhaps have experienced the short-term gain or the short-term win, but then we kind of go through these droughts, right? Or taking an approach that we hope to sort of cash in on really fast, and then, we don't have this long-term success. So definitely recommend 509 with Dory Clark about how to play the long game in your business. Next, we go into episode 511, and this is with Joe Sanok, with the idea of Thursday being the new Friday, right? The idea of the 4-day work week. Actually, this is a great time to announce this. When we were in Denver as a team, Matt and I made the announcement to our team that in 2022, we were going to be implementing this and actually moving our way toward a 4-day work week, a Monday through Thursday. And if you want to learn more about the science behind that and some of the studies that have been done, episode 511 is really great. And it's something that actually, even though you are working or having your team work less days, or hopefully you can do the same thing, you can also get much happier people and less stress. It also forces you to really prioritize and do the right things as opposed to doing just more things simply because you have more days of the week. All right. And then we move into October here. We talked with Arvid Kahl about just some really immersive business tactics, right? You might remember that episode where Arvid had this idea when he wanted to learn about his audience and what it felt like to be in debt, he got into debt himself, right? Which is pretty admirable, pretty scary, but also makes sense when you're trying to really empathize with your audience and understand, well, who are they, right? And that was episode 517. And then at the time of this recording, 519, again, another favorite episode of the year, not just because it was with an amazing friend of mine and my previous, or a person I've previously worked with, Mike Pacquione, who is my speaking coach, or who was my speaking coach back in 2013, 2014. We talk about storytelling. Storytelling is one of the most important things in business, in my opinion. It's a skill that anybody can learn how to do. And once you learn the frameworks and you practice, and of course, having a podcast like this definitely helps with that. It allows you to better connect with your audience, to resonate with them, to have them share those stories and pass it along, which is important for word of mouth. And we get into storytelling tactics in episode 519. And that's another episode that I've had a lot of feedback from people personally reaching out to me to say thank you for this episode and that it was game changing. So that takes us to where we're at now. And I know we're in the 530s, so there's a little bit of a black hole between 520 and 530 because this is just the way production works, right? I'm recording this episode for December at the beginning of November. But those are some episodes that I highly recommend you listen to if you haven't already. That was just a fun recap for myself personally. As we continue to hone in on our strategies, as we continue to get more and more efficient, we sometimes forget, as things become more machine-like, to step back and to reflect and to look back and just appreciate. And I appreciate all the guests that have been on the show this year. I appreciate all of you for listening to whether it's one or multiple episodes this year. And I'm so thankful for my team, and I'm really excited for the future because we have a lot of incredible episodes coming your way and more success stories, more featuring members of the SPI community. Yeah, thank you so much for being a part of this. I'm so looking forward to more episodes with you. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already and check out those episodes that I just mentioned because any one of them could be life-changing for you. So cheers, peace out, thanks so much, and I look forward to serving you next week. Team Flynn for the win. Thanks for listening to the Smart Passive Income Podcast at smartpassiveincome.com. I'm your host, Pat Flynn. Our senior producer is Sarah Jane Hess. Our series producer is David Grabowski. And our executive producer is Matt Gartland. Sound editing by Duncan Brown. The Smart Passive Income Podcast is a production of SPI Media. We'll catch you in the next session. Hey there, quick pause here because I have to tell you about a tool that completely transforms the podcasting workflow, Riverside. I get it. I used to juggle multiple platforms just to record one podcast episode. It was exhausting. Zoom for recording, Audacity for editing, and then a bunch of different apps just to create clips and social posts. I've tried other ones as well. They were okay, but they were clunky and super time-consuming. That's where Riverside has massively helped. I can do it all in one place, recording, editing, repurposing, one platform, one streamlined flow. I just log in, record with my guests no matter where they are in the world, and just like that, studio-quality audio and high-resolution video all in one. And get this, even if your Wi-Fi glitches, Riverside records locally on your device so everything sounds and looks crystal clear. But here's my favorite feature, Riverside's AI editing tool. You can remove silences and filler words with just one click, hours saved. With Magic Clips, Riverside also automatically finds the best moments and turns them into ready-to-post videos for YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram, all without the extra editing. So if you're looking to level up your production quality and simplify your workflow, go to smartpassiveincome.com/Riverside and use code SMART to get 1 month free on the Pro plan. That's smartpassiveincome.com/Riverside, promo code SMART. It's built by creators for creators, and I think you're going to love it. Have you dreamt about being your own boss, but still haven't made the first steps to making that dream a reality? Well, I get that. Starting a business can feel super overwhelming with legal forms, paperwork, finances. It's a lot. And that's why I'm excited to tell you about Taylor Brands. Taylor is a complete business builder designed to make launching your business simple and stress-free. You can register your LLC in just minutes, keeping your personal assets and the business assets separate from day one. From there, you get access to everything you need to get off the ground. Legal documents, licenses and permits, invoicing and bookkeeping tools, and even a 100-day business coaching program, all designed to help you hit the ground running. You'll also get a free personalized business plan, branding tools, and so much more. And of course, listeners of this show get an exclusive 35% discount to get started. All you have to do is head to tailorbrands.com/SPI. That's TAILORBRANDS.com/SPI. Stop dreaming, start building with Tailor Brands.